And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thompson. 100%. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big Sean McCarthy.
Well, hello to everyone. Yeah, I am in a different location because I got to move all around. But the man, the myth, the legend is in his studio, ready to go and ready to talk about the upcoming UFC fight with Peter Yan versus Merab Dvalishvili. I love that name. Everyone in Georgia's got a Shvili on the end of their name. It's fantastic. We've got the Bellator coming up with Umar Nurmagomedov defending his title and starting up the World Grand Prix in the lightweight division. That's going to be special too. My man, what are you doing?
Catching a real quick yawn because it is here at 5 a.m. because before we start our fight week for Bellator this week, there's a lot of stuff going on, man. I'm pumped for this weekend. This is a good weekend of fights. This main event in the UFC is fantastic. Peter Yan and Merab are going to be getting after it. And of course, I think the Bellator main event is going to be spectacular, along with the other fight that's in the lightweight division that's not getting as much love.
Yeah,
this lightweight World Grand Prix.
Good.
I can't imagine that fight not being good. You got Alexander Shabli versus Tofik Mosayev. Two of them are just barn burner fighters. They are fantastic athletes and great stand-up fighters. I don't think either one of them are going to shoot. And if they do shoot, it'll be just to get the takedown real quick and then back out and let them stand back up. They're both fantastic fighters, man. Going to be a great fight.
Yeah, it was funny because I was on unfortunately, I had to go from Portland to Los Angeles to get to San Jose. But while I had to sit in the thing, John Morgan comes into the lounge that I'm at. So we're sitting there talking. He goes, because he's up here in San Jose now. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I can't wait for the Shabli versus Messiah fight. He goes, those two guys, that's going to be the fight. Mm-hmm. He goes, people are going to finally realize who they are and what they are. Mm-hmm. And I go, look at you. Look at the big head on John, man. Boom. He's got brains.
Yeah, I like John. I just don't think that people are going to remember or really know who they are, what they can do. There's a double standard for what Bellator does and what the UFC does, and it's consistent across the board. But you know what, though, this is going to be a good fight. It's going to be a great night of fights. You know, the MVP and the Goichi Yamauchi fight is very interesting to me because you have again another grappler versus the striker, but
both so good at both ends of those spectrums.
They are, but I think we saw with Yamauchi, yeah.
First off, you can't do this shit. I'm on the same time as you.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, you're used to waking up like 3 hours earlier because you're on East Coast time. So the sun's not even up yet, ladies and gentlemen. But we are here, dedicated to our fans,
dedicated to our craft.
But to get back to the MVP and the Yamauchi situation but with Yamauchi, he has been standing a lot more lately, and like we've always said, he's a fighter that doesn't really go chasing takedowns.
No, he doesn't.
He lets the fight develop in front of him, and he'll stand until that person clinches with him, and then he takes you down or takes your back, and then it's over. So it's going to make for a very interesting fight. Will he stand pretty much the whole time until MVP tries to get a takedown on him, which MVP will never do that. So I'm interested to see how that all plans out. Plus, you got Lyndon Vassell is on the card against Moldavsky. I mean, they came to San Jose. It's been a while since they've been to San Jose, which is my hometown. And they brought a pretty good card, man. It's a very stacked card. The prelims are stacked. If you guys are going to watch the prelims later on, look at Cerronio. He is a fantastic fighter. He's on here
Bobby
as well.
Cerronio.
Yes. Really tough kid.
The humble warrior.
Action-packed, exciting. So, but John, we kind of dabbled a little bit into the cards already, but let's just jump right into the UFC so we can get into the whole fight card.
Can we do that?
UFC Fight Night. This is not 221. It's called what, number 70 now?
It's UFC Vegas 71.
Unfortunately, it's at the Apex, but
70.
You know, I got to give them credit. I got to give the UFC credit. I got to give their matchmakers credit because normally you have a pay-per-view, which they did. And the next show doesn't have, it's got a lot of people that, are lower on the spectrum of where the UFC is at and lower in the really hardly any rankings. You may get that main event has a couple of guys that are ranked, but this one, ooh.
Hey, real quick.
Yeah.
This one actually is not at the Apex, John. It's at the theater at the Virgin Hotels. They're calling it UFC Las Vegas. They're not calling it UFC Vegas 71.
Okay. So they're actually going to put fans in there instead of just the couple that ring the sides of the Apex. That's good because these guys deserve it and they need it.
Yeah, that would make sense for this fight. And I wonder how much the effect has on fighters over the years of not fighting in front of fans. I mean, how much it has affected their performances, their energy levels, all those things of fighting inside a. Yeah,
it's basic. Depends on the person. Some actually do better because it's like the gym. There's not the pressure of the fans and everything, but some don't do as well because they feed off of them.
That's true. Possibly. I mean, for me, I really needed the crowd. I loved it. I loved fighting, but let's jump right into this. Peter Yan versus Merab. How do you see this fight going there, John?
It's really the question is how does Peter Yan handle the pressure of Merab, because Merab's got to come forward. Merab's not going to be the guy that's going to stand on the outside. He's going to be pushing, pressuring Peter Yan towards the cage so he can get the takedown. And if he can get the takedown, look, he's going to win this fight because he's very good at controlling on the ground. Not that Yan can't get up from him. He can, but he's got to have to work really hard to do it. And so I look at this and I go, how effective, and it was one of the questions that I would, now that Dave said that, are they still using the 25-foot cage? Because at the Apex, it would have been a 25-foot cage, a little bit easier for Merab to, get him towards the fence. Is it going to be a 30-foot cage at, Virgin, whatever, the theater that it's at? But because that makes a difference. It makes a big difference in this fight. And I thought it was going to be the 25-foot. I thought it was at the Apex. So if he has that 30-foot cage, that's going to help you out. It's going to make it a little bit tougher on Merab. But both guys can win this fight. Like, Merab's tough as hell. He's proved that over and over again throughout his career. And Yan is super good. So it's a toss-up. It's who can implement their games, and can Peter Yan put enough shots on Merab that he doesn't, he doesn't want to slow down, but he just does based upon the impact of what he's getting hit with.
The only concern that I have for Merab is that I know he has the good top pressure, good control, but he doesn't have the submission threat as much as like someone like Aljo.
That's true.
And so when you're on top, are you just controlling? Are you riding him like Khabib would ride him, like control, sit him to his hip, do some ground? Or is he active enough to keep the ground and pound going to have Peter Yan respect him in those positions? If there's not really that big of a submission threat, Peter's going to be able to try to like make space and get away. Or will the refs, as we saw in the last UFC pay-per-view, there was some, I wouldn't say quick stand-ups, but there was a lot more stand-ups. And is that the mentality that they're going to be looking to go forward on in some of these other fights? Because in this fight, if Merab's not staying busy, will they stand him up, which gives him even more opportunities? Peter Yan gives him more opportunities to get the job done against Merab. So there's a lot of if and ands, that need to be answered. What happens if this does, and what will happen if this, and will they do this if it's not happening? So there's a lot of things that could possibly happen. I look for Peter to see a better version of Peter Yan than we did against Aljo in the second fight. He's got to stop with the when someone has control on his back, just hanging out, just thinking it's fun, it's okay. No, there's no time for that. Like, you're letting seconds, you're letting minutes slip away, the rounds slip away. You can't afford to do that. You've got to have a sense of urgency to get your back cleared, to get back up to your feet. You've got to have that sense of urgency. And so he is a fantastic fighter, but someone I think just told me yesterday, to remain nameless because I know he's a manager for some other fighters, is that he said, look, if Peter Yan loses, I think he's done. And I'm like, what do you mean he's done? They're like, well, I don't see him really making another run at the title. And that might possibly be it, because John, we've talked about this, is that some fighters, they get up to the top. They worked really hard to get there, and once they lose that, they fight still hard to stay there. But if they drop one or two more, they're done. They just kind of fall off into the abyss. And is that kind of where you were thinking that he's at? What do you think?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Thank you.
I don't think so. It's a matter of, and I don't think if he loses, obviously he's going to drop down, but then he'll fight, guys that, that are, I don't want to say lesser competition, but not quite as capable as the guys in that top position there. He'll get some wins back and he'll be back. So I don't see that happening. I think he's too good. And people sit there and say, "Oh, he lost to Aljo twice or whatever," and did that. Dude, he's good. The guy, you watch how he does stuff. He's freaking good. People forget real fast. Yeah. And I really enjoy watching Dvalishvili. I think he's fantastic. So this is a great main event. Especially coming off of that damn the pay-per-view. Boy, they put a great main event on it with this one.
Yeah. Next you have Alexander Volkov versus Alexander Romanov.
Yeah. You look at this one. This is the real question of, does Volkov, set him up in the stand-up with his length and keep him off of him, or does Romanov get the takedown? And if he gets the takedown, he's going to maul Volkov. Volkov is, shown that his, the route to victory against him is normally take him to the ground, pound on him, and he's going to end up having problems in the fight. Romanov is a guy that can do that. He's got to, he's a good fighter. I think it was his last fight wasn't his norm, but that's what happens when you're going up in the rankings and getting, tougher opponents. But Volkov has got to keep his distance. He's got to use, he can use the clinch at times because he's got that length and that height where he can land knees easily in the inside. But Romanov needs to get the takedown. If he wants to win this fight, got to get the takedown.
Yeah. Dave, can you scroll up for me, please? But yeah, I look at the Volkov fight. Like you said, the story is, can he keep the fight on the feet? Can he use that tip kick, that push kick, all of those things to keep him at bay? The long jab, the long combinations. Romanov's just got to move his head offline, cover the distance, stay in close. I think even in close in terms of the clinch, doing the dirty work against the fence, I think he'll have some success. He should be able to get him down. Will he be able to hold him down? That's the other question. Because when guys like Volkov, guys like MVP, guys that are been known for their stand-up, they're also really good. Paul Daly was really good at it, even though he's got a lot of losses to good wrestlers. But man, he made those wrestlers work. He was so good at getting back to his feet because they know that's all they have to do is get back to my feet. I can knock you out.
Yep.
And so Volkov is spectacular at getting back to his feet. It's just when you put his back flat to the ground. So that's if you're watching this fight. Every time Volkov's back is flat to the ground, he's struggling. He's having a very difficult time. When he's on his side or when his back's to the fence or any of those things, there's a good possibility that he's going to be able to get up because they have such long arms, such long legs. Giving you the Heisman down my legs and then turning my body and being able to, get my one knee clear and get back up to my feet is going to be key. So, yeah, it's going to be a good fight. It's going to be an interesting fight though, because Romanov's going to have to get this fight to the ground. You've got Nikita Krylov versus Ryan Spann. This was the main event and now got pushed to this card. Now they're not even the co-main event, which is really weird to me.
I thought it was weird too. I thought, why did you have that? That was a main event. And now you're going to put it not even as the co-main. I thought that was a little strange. It's going to be a little different that the fact that it's 3 rounds instead of 5 rounds now.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's a matter of peaking for that fight and then dropping it down a little bit and trying to bring it back up. That's not easy to do. Krylov being that he was sick, maybe it's not quite as good for him as it's going to be for Spann, but I'm really looking forward to seeing Ryan Spann. It's, after his last performance and the way that he was talking about, this is the first time I've ever really trained for a fight. Well, the good I want to see now, is it true? Because if he gets rid of Krylov the way he did in that last fight with his last opponent, man, that dude's going to be good because he has got some skills.
Yeah, I look at Ryan Spann, though, a little bit of an emotional roller coaster. How does he deal with that? Because he was almost in tears when they had talked about the fight being pushed or the fight being canceled. My team's put in so much work. I put in so much work. And the other thing, though, too, is that Krylov, if he is able to get a takedown or two, that will change how Ryan Spann fights this fight. He will fight a little bit more cautiously. I don't think Krylov's going to really work too hard for the takedowns. I think he will threaten them, but I don't think he'll work too hard for them. This will be on the feet. Unless he starts to feel Ryan Spann's power.
He's going to work for the
30
takedown.
seconds.
He's going to work for the takedown. Yeah.
He's pretty confident on the feet. I wouldn't say confident on the feet, but he's someone that kind of just throws. Yeah, he's competent. That's the other word I was looking for. I don't know, man. Like some guys, when you look at Ryan Spann, he has that fear factor. I look at him like, yeah, I'm not sure I want to be standing with this guy. He's got the type of power he's got. And
power,
like
length.
Yeah.
And that's why when you look at it, Krylov is in that position of, well, where's the best route to victory here? Well, it's pretty simple. The best route is put him on his back, make it to where he can't hurt you with that power, and make it to where you can do damage to him. And Krylov he's got decent wrestling. He's got the ability to take people down. He's done it in the past, multiple times. So I look and think, I think Krylov is going to look and say, oh, yeah, I'll use my stand up and I'll get inside. But if I get the opportunity to take him down, that's where he's going.
Yeah. Ricardo Ramos versus Austin Lingo. What do you think?
Man, I don't know about this fight. Lingo, good young fighter, got a nice record and stuff, but Ricardo Ramos is tough. He's talented. It's just that I've seen him fight so good at times, and then I've seen him fight kind of lackluster. So we're going to see. I'm going to see what he brings in this, but that's a good matchup.
John, this is another fight that I was really shocked that it was so far down. Is not the Ricardo Ramos and Austin Lingo, but was Said Nurmagomedov versus Jonathan Martinez.
Yeah.
How is? I mean, they're number 10, so I'm assuming they're opening the show. But I was surprised it was down this low. I mean, I would have put it probably right up there by Spannon, up there. Probably just one more fight up, I guess, when I start looking at it. Yeah. I'm not big on heavyweights, though. Like Volkov versus Romanov, I would have had that possibly, not opening the show, but I would have had it probably around the Ramos versus Lingo, and then maybe moving Lingo down to open the show. But I look at this fight with Said Nurmagomedov. Very, very fast, very explosive, really good all the way around. A lot more wrestling centric, but has that Taekwondo style stand up. He's a fun fighter, really good at pressing to the fence. That just the speed that he brings to the table at bantamweight. I mean, and Jonathan Martinez, very composed, very just walks you down, heavy kicks.
Yep, good stand up,
very good technician on the feet. I mean, like he's fantastic. And this is good. I think this is going to be one of those fantastic fights. I look at Martinez.
Oh my God.
I know, man. It's catching up to me, John. It's catching up to me. I know it's going to be a long week, too. So
it is.
I'm glad we filmed these early and we get them out, man. Because, man. But Jonathan Martinez is so good, so spectacular. Who was Jonathan Martinez's last fight there, Dave? Can you look on that for me?
Oh, fuck.
But I believe he had a really good performance his last fight, I believe. Cub Swanson. Yeah. So it was a very, very awesome performance. He fought his ass off, fought a great performance. He's got heavy kicks, like I was saying. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do against Said Nurmagomedov.
Yeah.
Back to the card, Dave, for me. All right, so I'm looking at this in terms of name value, but we got Vitor Petrino versus Anton Turkalji. I can't even say his last name.
Turkalj?
Turkalj.
Is it Turkalj?
I think so. Turkalj.
Turkalj, maybe?
Turkalj is Turkalj. 8-1 though. I mean, Anton's got a pretty good redder, so 8-1, and then you've got Vitor Petrino versus 7-0. Yeah, he's undefeated. Good fight. Light heavyweight. So, what do you think on that?
I look at it and I think Petrino's got right now, he's on a confidence high. He believes he can beat anybody. He's been looking good. I have only watched Anton fight one time, and he's tough and he's a gamer. So it's a good matchup. I just don't know if he's got the full skill set to stay with Petrino.
Got it. Rafael Sansal versus Davy Grant.
That's a good fight. Davy Grant is a battler. And really the question is how far has Rafael dropped down? Because obviously, he's gotten older and the skill set's, starting to, slow down. His speed has slowed down a little bit, and that's caused him some problems. Davy Grant's going to be in the middle of his face. Can Assunção take the fight to the ground at times, put Davy in positions where he has to work his way out? That would help him get the win. If he doesn't, I see Davy Grant walking away with it.
Yeah, as I'm looking through these prelims here, I like Ariana Lipski versus JJ Aldridge. That should be a good fight.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So the two of them going back and forth on this. But Lipski's coming off, I think she's coming off of a loss. Can you just click on her again? I thought she had a loss her last fight.
Sorry.
All right, buddy. How you doing?
You said
Lipski, yeah,
Lipski.
Oh, you can't click on it?
No, there we go. I got it. I was pressing
got it.
the wrong button.
Yeah, she's coming off her loss against Cachoeira. So Priscilla.
Yeah.
So she's coming off a loss there for TKO to punches. Like I said, it wasn't a great performance, but JJ, someone who's well-rounded, can get this fight. The two of them getting after it, but Lipski's got to get back on track, man. So, she had a good performance against Mandy Baum, and then she lost to De La Rosa. She lost to Shevchenko, and to Antonina, not Valentina. But, she's had great moments, and then she's lost one or two. And then she's had great moments, and then she's lost one or two. She's got to get a consistency coming through. Lipski does. And
she's not getting any favors by getting JJ. I think JJ's getting better all the time, because JJ really lived off her stand-up and had problems at the ground. She doesn't have those same problems anymore.
No.
She's very difficult to take down now, and she's a volume attacks specialist. She comes after you, and she throws a ton of shots, which you have to deal with. And I look at it, and I don't know, how the odds maker is going to look at it. I think JJ Aldridge is the favorite in this.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, possibly. It depends. It depends, like I said, because Lipski's so up and down. Depends on which one shows up. So,
True.
All right. Well, hey, is there any other fights on here?
You got to talk. Yeah, there was Tony Gravely is taking on Victor Henry, and that is Tony Gravely being a wrestler. Henry is a phenomenal stand-up, fun to watch. I think that's actually a good. It's early in the prelims, but that's going to be a great.
Yeah, it's number 3 on the night, and then you've got Bruno Silva versus Tyson Nam. You got Carlston Harris versus an unknown fighter. So
that unknown dude is tough.
He is a son of a bitch, man. He is a son of a bitch. I think he's still undefeated, or he always pulls out. I don't know, the unknown fighter guy. All right. That's going to wrap up our UFC talk that's going on this weekend. Let's move right into Bellator 292 here in San Jose at the SAP Arena. It'll be on Friday night. So for those of you guys trying to watch on Showtime on Friday night, the prelims will be on YouTube, on the Bellator YouTube. You can check them out there. So to start off the Lightweight World Grand Prix, actually it is not starting off the Lightweight World Grand Prix. It's the main event. The earlier fight will be starting off the Lightweight World Grand Prix.
There you go.
But this will be the first title defense of Umar Nurmagomedov. And I've been able to watch him train at AKA quite a bit, seen his sparring, seen his wrestling, seen his grappling, all of these things. He's 16-0. He's been dominant in the gym. And I know we're just talking about the gym. But, you're bringing in fighters. You're bringing in people for him to spar with. He's been sparring a lot with Adam Piccolotti. Adam, can switch. He goes left-handed. He goes right-handed, but he mainly stays left-handed. He's got good takedowns, good leg kicks. Got good, his stand-up's not spectacular, Adam Piccolotti's, but Usman made it look, at times in the way he mixed it up, made it look easy. Then there's some areas that Adam gave him a hard time with. And some of those areas are areas that Benson is very successful in. And it's going to make for a very interesting fight because the name Nurmagomedov is synonymous.
Can you say that again?
With the wrestling. But he's got fantastic wrestling, but it's very rare do you see him use it. It's rarely does he use this on the regular. He will threaten the takedown, but then he'll let the space go. He'll control the top position, or he'll back out and get away and get back up to his feet where he feels a lot more comfortable.
Yeah.
How do you see this fight play out? Yeah, he does.
And he uses it usually at a time that is very smart. He has his opponent in a position where they think it's just going to be all stand up, and then they try to come in on him, and all of a sudden he's dropping levels. He gets into him. He's got good wrestling. Anyone who sits there and goes, "Oh well, he's his wrestling is average." No, it's not. It's fucking good. And Benson's in that position where you look and you go, "Wow." All the fights, all of this time, everything. And he's still, fighting well. But when you take a look at who he's fighting, he's always in tough fights. The easiest fight he's had was his last fight, if you're going to be honest, against Queally, as far as rankings and everything like that. And Queally is, that guy who is very volume-oriented, tough fighter, got very good control in the fight. But Benson hasn't been the Benson that we saw, of the past. He's slowed down a little bit. And that's not that he's slow, but he slowed down a little bit. And there's a little bit of variance there. And I think Benson's going to have problems with the length and the stand-up of Usman. Benson needs to get the fight to the ground. Usman doesn't need to.
No.
But Benson does. So the question is, can Benson? Because if Benson does, he can be successful with this. He's got very solid, grappling skills, and he does have the threat of submissions from a variety of positions and everything. So this is really one of those ones. One guy has to get the fight to the ground. One guy doesn't. Both of them are competent on the ground. I think Benson is obviously more skilled on the ground overall. He's the better pure grappler than Usman. But in the stand-up, I got to give Usman's got the better overall skills. He's got the length. He's got a beautiful jab. His kicks are very, technical.
Snappy.
Yeah, very technical in the way he does. And he throws just beautiful changes of it. He throws that question mark kick incredibly well, almost Luke Rockhold-like, where that can catch you, because if you start getting hit to the legs a lot and all of a sudden that he takes that and he brings it up, you got problems. But Usman's the champion and he's going to be the favorite in this fight. Benson's got to come up with a way to work his way into the clinch, get him to the ground, and make him work past his comfort zone.
Yeah, I look at, you said Benson slowing down. Benson was never really a extremely fast fighter. He would kill you a little bit with a more output in terms of that he could do it everywhere. He could clinch you, he could box you, he could dirty box you, he could try to take you down, he could mix it up in any direction. Now, he was never a volume fighter either, though. He wasn't someone that came out and just threw a ton of strikes at you. He kind of always just kind of cruise control. Well, in this fight, he can't afford to do that, because the faster, longer fighter, and they will pick you apart from the outside, will be Usman. He's a lot faster than he looks, I think, on TV, because when I've seen him up close in sparring, he's extremely fast. Yeah. And he uses that reach and that range, whether it's his long jab, whether it's his long straight left, whether it's his long kick. All of those things he does very well. And when you rush in, when you try to move in and close that distance, he's very good at hitting his trips. So he'll get right up to the clinch. He'll throw the knee. He'll hit you with the little step behind knee tap or the trip, or he'll go ahead and just basically scoop up a single as fast as he can and take you for a ride. So he's got a lot of little things that he likes to do when you close in too much. When you close that distance too much, he's quick at getting into that takedown if he needs. He threatens the takedown to break your balance, and then goes right back to making space and letting the striking go. He's a phenomenal fighter. It's where I think sometimes when I've seen just from the sparring, and that might just be from being tired sometimes, against guys, is that he can sometimes relax in areas that he shouldn't relax. And Benson's been known to go ahead and capitalize on those areas throughout his career. And he's been able to control a fight and still a round when you can't be allowing a round to be stolen in this situation like this. This is a 5-round fight because it's a title fight, but all the lightweight World Grand Prix fights will be 5 rounds. So as the next fight that we're going to talk about is Tofik Musayev versus Alexander Shabli, which I don't think you're going to need 5 rounds for this fight. But this is the fight that I cannot wait to watch. When they announced, when Coker had told me, hey, Josh, we're thinking about putting this fight in the first round, I was like, why? Why would you put this fight in the first round?
Absolutely.
Why? I was like, why can't this fight could probably end up in the semifinals or in the finals? He's like, what happens if they don't make it? And I was like, oh shit, you're right. Yeah. Never mind. I said, well, we make it later on down the road. He's like, no. It doesn't mean as much when it's later on down the road. It means as much right now. And I'm like, damn, you're right. Damn it. This is why you're the promoter. You get paid the big bucks.
No, I agree. I thought it was the fight to put together because you have 2 guys that are so, just outstanding in that one skill set. Not that, look, Shabli's got wrestling. He will take you down and everything, but he uses his wrestling more as a defense to stay on his feet because his boxing and his stand-up is so sharp. And he's got good kicks, too. I don't want to say anything about, he doesn't have kicks. He's got good kicks. Musayev is different. He's got an aggression to him. And when he decides to explode, and he's fast, when he decides to go, man, he puts shots on people. And it's going to be interesting to see how Shabli, who likes to counter, how he tries to counter what Tofik Musayev brings. Because I do see that Musayev is the more aggressive fighter. Musayev is the guy that tries to, create situations and look for knockouts, where Shabli doesn't look for knockouts. Shabli looks to put his hands on you, and eventually he'll knock you out. you know, which is smart. That's why he's such a good fighter. And he got 22 wins, I want to say.
Yeah, Shably's 22-3, and Tofik Musayev is 20-4.
Yeah. So, yeah, this is a great matchup. You know, you could tell by the just the way Musayev took out Sidney Outlaw in his first fight in Bellator. Fast,
18
and that's
seconds.
what he does. That's what he does all the
18.
time. He does these blitzes, and man, if you can't handle the blitz that he brings, and he does bring it, you're gonna have problems. So this is a great stylistic matchup as far as striker versus striker, but they go about it in a different fashion.
Alexander Shably, like you said, is a counter striker. I've sparred with him. I've worked with him. I've wrestled with him. He's a fantastic fighter. He's good at anti-wrestling, as I should say. He will try to stuff your takedowns, keep it on the feet. He's got a fantastic leg kick / calf kick. He has a lot of what George Masvidal used to do because their main training partners are each other. And so his sparring partner is Masvidal. Masvidal's main sparring partner has been Alexander Shably, or at least one of them.
Yeah.
The two of them have very similar styles in terms of how they roll their shoulder, how they load their uppercuts, how they throw their combinations. Shably's really kind of taken after what Masvidal had done with the calf kick, the inside leg kick, the little body kick, all of those things. He's got nasty, nasty kicks. But I look at where Tofik Musayev can excel is with the speed. And like you were saying, I think Musayev is the faster fighter. He just put you with barrage of punches and try to get you out of there like he did with Sidney Outlaw. But in this fight, John, it's only going to take, I think, like 1, maybe 2 takedowns to really get Musayev to kind of take a step back and go, okay, look, now he wants to wrestle a little bit. I've got to be very cautious and careful how I blitz him, how I come in with my shots. Because if I fight reckless and careless, I can end up on bottom losing this fight. And this will be a 5-round fight.
Yeah.
But in this, Shably, I think, to me, is the better jiu-jitsu practitioner after grappling with him and understanding like what areas that he likes to threaten certain submissions. Even though this was years ago that I trained with him, it was about probably, I'd say about 4 years ago. I'm sure he's evolved a lot more since then, obviously, on the ground. But the submissions that they tend to feel very comfortable with, those don't normally really change. There's certain submissions that they really like to attack when they feel good from the top position. Tofik, a lot of his losses have come by the submission. When he fought Satoshi,
Yeah.
and when he lost to the rising champion Satoshi, was being comfortable on the ground is not exactly where he is the most comfortable. So I think if you threaten that takedown or two, I think Shably is going to be able to control those top positions. But every round starts on the feet, which makes this fight extremely exciting.
Yeah, that's a good one.
The next fight, Valentin Moldavsky versus Linton Vassell. The heavyweights are banging at it with each other. Vassell, man, he's a lot better at heavyweight. At 205, he was struggling to make the weight. He's just way better at heavyweight. And then you got Moldavsky. But where Moldavsky excels is where the areas that Linton Vassell has problems. The speed on the feet is where Linton Vassell is going to have problems. Moldavsky's pretty fast on the feet. He can stop takedowns. He's hard to take down. He's one of those hybrid, like we like to call him, as heavyweights. He's a smaller heavyweight. Rocks around about 232, 235. Yep. Not a big heavyweight. Shorter, a little bit shorter in stature, but man, just walk around like a little bowling ball. And it's going to be hard to get him to the ground. And when I see the things that Moldavsky can do, Linton Vassell is going to have his hands full. Now, in all of those things being said, Linton Vassell, yes, it is. You are, yes, I do know that. But what I'm saying is that Linton Vassell, though, on top, I think has a great chance of winning this fight.
Oh, no doubt about it. And the real thing is, when Linton Vassell, I think this was Linton Vassell's first fight in Bellator at heavyweight, and he came in huge, and it was too much weight for him to carry. He wasn't used to carrying that weight, and he got tired in that fight, and Moldavsky was able to just ragdoll him around. He's not going to be able to ragdoll him the same way. I agree with you completely. The stand-up is where Linton has got to really execute well, because speed is a difference. Linton is not a fast fighter, but Moldavsky is. And so in the stand-up, Moldavsky likes to move his feet. He likes to get in and out. And he's going to look at doing this fight very similar to the way he did the first one. Linton's got to be able to take one of those opportunities when Moldavsky likes to move, to push him towards the cage and then get into that clinch, because in the clinch, he can do really well. He can put a lot of weight on him. He is super strong. and he can wear Moldavsky down, because we've seen Moldavsky get a little bit tired at times based upon guys that are big. Now, size-wise, Linton's going to look a lot bigger, but he's not going to weigh. He's probably going to weigh about 10 to 15 more pounds than Moldavsky. But he's going to come in shape, ready to go. And like you said, if he gets in the top position, he gives everyone problems when he is on top. He's got very good grappling, very good base. You got to figure, he's working out, he's been working out forever with guys like Gilbert Burns and being instructed by him and stuff. The guy can grapple. He's got good submissions. I know he lost the first one, and you're going to have to say, is he possibly the underdog in this? Yeah, he's probably the underdog. So. He's got a very good chance of winning this fight.
No, I agree. I definitely agree. It's going to be a fun fight. Now, I'm going to skip on down. We've got some fights that are in there. They put it there in that position because it is going to be the TV position where they may end up having some fights after the main card. But the next fight I want to talk about is Julius Anglickas against Aljamain. This should be a fun fight. You got two guys that like to stand. Neither one really likes to wrestle. Aljamain with big power, a big overhand right. He's known to be a lot more speed than Julius, but Julius, very defensive fighter, very calculated in his decisions, but finds ways to get wins. He's somebody that will walk Aljamain down. He will try to touch him with the jab, keep his defense up, not get knocked out, and he'll just stay biggie on the right hand, blocking the overhand right, and then he'll just try to counter, get into the clinch with some knees. This is going to be a fun fight between the two of them because there's a lot at stake. Both of them need to start making their way back up towards those title shots.
Yeah.
And they were both knocking on the door and just didn't get it done. So now they are trying to get back on track, and they're trying to get back into that title talk.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Terrible. Yeah, I look at this. Anglickas is very boxing centric, if you want to say, and uses very straight shots.
Yeah.
Doesn't, it's not that he's not. Okay, now I'm done. Thank you. It's not that he does have speed, but he's not super fast, but he looks fast with his hands because he throws a lot of straight shots. Aljamain is fast, and he's got a lot of movement, a lot of big looping shots, though. And so Anglickas can do damage by throwing those straight shots down the middle as Aljamain is trying to land those big, powerful looping shots. It's really going to be the question, how does Aljamain deal with, and I'm going to say it, the size of Anglickas, because they're going to look like they're in two different weight classes. Anglickas is huge in the light heavyweight division. Aljamain looks more like a middleweight.
I mean, when you go back to the fight that he had against Nemkov and Anglickas, he sat Nemkov to his ass in that one of the first couple exchanges in the first round, and everyone was like, "Oh shit, what's going on?" And then then Nemkov got it all together and was able to come back and just put a dominating performance over on Anglickas. But I mean, both of these guys match up extremely well. What concerns me is with Yags, right? He sometimes will not have a ton of output. He'll circle, stay away, wait for you to open up a little bit, and then he'll throw a big shot. 1, 2 maybe shots, and then a big leg kick, and then maybe 1, 2 shots. So he doesn't have like an extreme amount of output. Whereas Julius Anglickas will just walk you down and just touch you, and eventually he'll try to get you out of there. Josh Hill and Cass Bell should be a fantastic fight, and then Eric Perez versus Enrique Barzola.
That's
Those two fights, I feel like they're going to be fantastic fights.
Yeah, Barzola against Perez, that's a fun fight. Both guys go after it. Barzola's got a gas tank that just is, unlimited. The guy does not get tired, keeps putting pressure on you. Perez, very good everywhere. I don't know if he can handle the wrestling and pressure of Barzola. He's going to end up underneath him, and if he ends up underneath him, it's going downhill fast.
Yeah, I saw Barzola spar this last 3 weeks. He's in shape, obviously. He's always in shape. But he's been working on some new things. And I'm really looking forward to seeing if he's able to pull this out during a fight. He's been working a lot, on some stuff that I think will be tailor-made for someone like Eric Perez. And I think there was a little bit of going back to the drawing board after his fight against Magomedov. And just understanding, like, look, I've got to make some changes. Everyone understands I'm just going to be a pressure fighter, but I've got to have some substance behind my threats of just not just walking you down. And so I'm looking forward to seeing how he kind of comes out and performs during this fight, especially in San Jose, training out of AKA. There's going to be a huge AKA fan base there that comes out. So should be a good night for him, hopefully, and get back into his winning ways. Good for him. That's going to wrap up our Bellator talk. Dave, what kind of news have you got for us?
So what we're going to do, I'm going to let you guys talk a little bit here, and then we'll roll into Umar, our interview with Umar.
Okay. But, before we get started on any of the news talk and any of that breakdown, we want to thank you guys that have joined our OnlyFans account. So onlyfans.com/weighing in. Head on over there. Look, we are doing a fan Q&A. There'll be a lot of behind the scenes footage this week. So go to onlyfans.com/weighing in. You guys can submit your fan questions there. We're only taking fan questions now from our OnlyFans account. This is for you guys, for us to be more directly related to our fans. So this is why they call it OnlyFans. We're trying to get only our fans there, our top fans there. They really want to be part of this podcast. And we're going to start doing our fan questions out of there. And there's only going to be a lot of behind the scenes footage, like I said, for Bellator this week. And there's going to be a lot of fighters that are there. And speaking of fighters that we're going to that we will for sure see there is Umar Nurmagomedov. And John and I were able to catch up with him. But John's going to go ahead and lead us right into this interview because we had a great time with this young man. Fantastic fighter.
Let's be honest. His brother Usman is going to be fighting, but you're taking a look at guys here, Josh. Both of them right now 16-0, and there is no doubt in my mind. Umar Nurmagomedov at 16-0 in the UFC. You're looking at a guy, I think he's somewhere around 11 right now in their rankings, which is okay. He's going to be a champion. He's got all the right tool sets. He's got the right mentality. He's got the right discipline. He does things the right way. He's just a freaking winner, and nobody wants to fight him. He has, it's not only the fact that he's got that last name, it's the fights that he's put on. Everyone is seeing. Oh, if you're ranked above him, you don't want to take him on. It's like, why do I want to fight him? Let me fight a guy closer to me. He's at 11. I'll fight number 3. Nope, he's coming, and that's all I got to say is he's coming. And look out, we had a great interview with Umar Nurmagomedov. Well, we are lucky enough to have one of the baddest men on the planet, a guy who is ranked way lower than he should be because he is 16-0 right now. He is lighting up the bantamweight, and Josh and I are always talking about right now, the bantamweight division is the division that is the hot division in all of MMA. We have got the man, Umar Nurmagomedov. What is up, my brother?
What's up? Thank you so much. Thank you.
We're going to have to start having John introduce you at your fights with that type of announcement. You're ranked number 11 right now, and you've been having a hard time getting some fights. And you're kind of running into that same problem that Khabib had and that Islam had, and people just don't want to fight you because of the style which you bring. Also, the conditioning, the cardio, the pressure, the wrestling, the kickboxing, everything. You're a complete fighter. Why do you think?
Thank you so much.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think you're having these problems?
You know what interesting? Then they will talk to he didn't fight with nobody in Rai King. How I can fight if nobody don't fight with me? If nobody take this fight, what I can do?
Nothing.
It's tough.
I've made the same argument though for Islam because everyone said, "Oh, how is he getting a title shot for the title when he hasn't fought anyone? His best guy is Sarukian or his best guy is this fighter." I said because all those guys don't want to fight him. He's on Twitter, he's on social media like you are now, asking for fights. Ricky Simone and I just got into it, and I like Ricky as a person, but we got into it a little bit on Twitter because I said, he had his fans. His fans were chirping at me, going, "Yeah, well, why doesn't Umar call out Ricky?" I said, well, why doesn't Ricky just say, "Hey, he wants that fight, call the UFC"? Then Ricky gets on there and goes, "Well, I'm not a matchmaker. I'm already matched up." And I said, well, then tell your fans. If your fans don't know you're matched up, then they got to stop replying to me. But that would be the next fight down for you because Ricky Simone he's ranked number 10. You're ranked number 11. But John and I have been looking through these, through the bantamweight rankings for the UFC. You got Pedro Munoz at number 9. You got Song Yadong at number 8. You've got Dominic Cruz, which I know you just expressed some interest in fighting him as well as of recently.
Yeah, that ain't happening.
At number
telling you
7.
right now.
Yeah, I know Dom's not. We kind of know Dom's in a position in his career. You know this. That Dom's in a position in his career that fight doesn't make sense. And you look at, then you go number 6 is Rob Font. Number 5 is Corey Sandhagen. Tell me about Corey Sandhagen. I know you like that fight. What about Corey motivates you?
I like this fight because of style, because of he striking, me striking. But I think if I will fight with him, I will stand up with him 3 minutes. But after, I will take him down and try to finish him. Always in every round, I will try to take him down and finish him. Try to finish him. And if we talk about names like dream fights, like with who I really want to fight, I think Jose Aldo retired. This is impossible. But still, Dominic Cruz, this guy legend. Or if DJ Dillashaw will come back, I want this fight too. These two guys, like they was champions. They was like they toughest. But they now like now this little bit older. I think that's why everybody will say this is not his prime. This is not like, we don't know how you will fight with him if there was his prime. You understand?
Yeah.
We watched your cousin Khabib start coming up through the ranks, and he got to a place exactly like you, where everyone looked and said, "No, I'm not. If I'm ranked above, there's no reason for me to fight him. Let me take this guy," because everyone knew how good he was, and they knew how tough of a fight he would be for them. The style wasn't going to match up well for him, and so they avoided him until he became the champ. Then everyone wants to fight him because, well, he's got the belt. Islam, a good friend of yours, same thing now. Now people want to fight him when before they didn't want to fight him. That's what Josh is talking about. You've come out and you said, look, I'm human. I just want to fight. And you've talked about wanting to fight multiple times throughout the year. You want to get these fights in. When you take a look at the people that are above you, are those the only ones that you'll fight, or you'll say, in the end, I don't care, I'll take someone below me. I want to be busy.
This is what I see, and I try to, they say media, okay, I try to say to in media something, I want to say, like, hey, let's go fight, I'm gonna be busy, I wanna mold everybody, I doing this. About training, I'm training. About fight, I fighting, I have 4 fights, 3 finish. You understand? I'm trying to do everything what can help me become champion. But I don't know, this is not working.
The one thing I know that you got to do, pick the person. If you were going to be able to fight anyone besides Aljamain Sterling, who is the champ, I'm not going to give you the champ right now, but if you were able to pick anybody in that, would it be Dominic Cruz? Would it be Corey Sandhagen? Would it be Merab? Who would be the guy that you would pick to be, that's the guy I want that's above you?
I really don't care. I don't care, like, I won't fight with anybody. I really don't care who will be with me against in the cage. And I don't care, like, I don't want to say to this guy, somebody scared to me, I'm like really, really tough, but I don't know why. Okay, if somebody say to in my division, hey, I want to fight with anybody, I'm here.
Well, here, I'll do it for you.
You understand?
No, there are people here, they don't want to fight you. They're scared of fighting you because they see how good you are. 16-0 says a lot there, Umar. That is not an easy thing to get to, and you're only getting better.
If somebody in top 15 gonna say to, hey, who wanna fight with me, and I have to say, hey, I'm here, please, I'm here, guys.
I'm here.
But one thing I know, understand. I have question for these guys. Hey, in your division, have different guy, same fighter, not specially nothing, and he say, hey, somebody, please take this fight. I'm gonna fight. Oh, okay. If I will see somebody wanna say right now I have fight, but after anybody, I have to say I will be wait you. But about me, nobody don't say nothing. You understand?
So you're not getting called out. We know that.
Huh?
You're not going to get called out. No one's going to sit there and go, I want Umar Nurmagomedov. That's not unless when you become the champion, you're going to have people saying, I want Umar. Then it's easier.
Then. I think just then.
Yeah. I agree with you.
If I take a look though behind you, there's some great talent behind you as well. You've got Said Nurmagomedov. You've got Adrian Yanez. He's a stud. He's a very well-rounded fighter.
Striker.
Very good on the feet. Good striker. Chris Gutierrez, phenomenal fighter. Even Jack Shore making a good run right now. He's 16-1. He's a phenomenal.
Jack Shore.
Yes.
Sean Shelby say he changed his weight.
Oh, he goes 40.
So you were supposed to fight Jack Shore. That fight was canceled, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Our fight canceled because of I forget why. They asked me fight with him, and maybe I was injured. I didn't remember right now why. And they give this fight for Timur Aliyev. Even him right now, he has like lose his last fight. He lose to Ricky Simon. Even to him, I will agree. I say to yes, but Sean Shelby say he's changed his weight. He go to up because of hard cutting weight.
Yeah,
got it.
When I look at the weight classes though, like you said, anybody you're willing to fight anybody anytime. How much when you're talking about this are you? Because I see the same thing with Khabib. I see the same thing with Islam and even Abu Bakr. You guys try to really get in as many fights as you can in between Ramadan and your guys' season to perform. How much of an impact does that have on you in terms of your scheduling with your guys' performances for fights?
I was want to fight before Ramadan, March, after June, after and in Abu Dhabi, November, October, 4 fights in the 1 year. Right now, I think this is impossible. This is impossible because of different things too. Nobody don't wanna fight. Okay, even I will fight in the June next fight. After I have to, even if I say to I wanna fight with September and December. I think they don't wanna. They didn't find.
Yeah.
And what I can do, I can do like when they send me contract, I sign and go to inside cage, try to win and go ahead.
When you are done after Ramadan, does your body take time to recover? Do you need time to get your body back into training? And how much time is that?
1 month after Ramadan, 1 month I can take fight.
Okay.
I can fight. I hope I will fight end of the May or beginning June.
Do you notice? And this has been something on my mind for a long time. And do you notice a difference in your performance after your month of Ramadan, like almost like a cleanse of your body, because you guys don't eat during the day, correct?
Right.
And then just water during the day?
Nothing. We cannot drink, we cannot eat.
And then in the evening, you guys, once the sun goes down, you guys are allowed to eat and drink, correct? But do you notice a difference? Do you notice a difference in your body when you come back to training?
You know what we're doing? We're changing our schedule, and we're doing like this. All day we rest. All day we rest, and before eat, like when we have time, when we can eat. Before eat, I doing one training. Maybe it's like maybe it will be skills like training Muay Thai or wrestling. Maybe it will be like run. I doing one training. After I go eat, we have like 2 times we're going to mosque for pray. We have praise, and between and before before sleep, before Fajr. It will be like maybe 12 o'clock. We're doing one more training, go eat, go sleep, and we're doing this work all month. We will literally changing our schedule,
Yeah.
and this is not easy, but it's okay. Who cares? My opponent don't cares. Have I problem? Not have. I'm fasting. Not fasting. When I go to inside the cage, he don't ask me anything. He will try to like smash me.
But do you notice? My question was, do you
notice like a
though?
cleansing from it? Do you think it helps you in a certain way that it cleans you out and gets you ready for all the fights for the rest of the year?
This is like who I would say like who knows? They say yes. Ramadan cleaning, fasting. When you fasting, your body cleaning, you recovering, and I think it's working.
Yeah, I noticed a difference. Throughout your, with not just you, with Khabib, with even Abu Bakr and everyone, that I noticed a difference in terms of your guys' strength, your guys' endurance, all of those things, and especially during those months right after Ramadan, it seems like there's a lot more focus. It seems there's a lot more energy, and maybe that just might be from the food intake or whatever it is. But I do notice a difference in training with you guys for all those years. And so I was asking you if you guys noticed a difference in your performances after Ramadan.
If it will be close, I don't wanna take this fight because after Ramadan I need a little bit time. If after 1 month it's okay.
Yeah.
If I will be 4 weeks, I will keep training in Ramadan. I will do my job, and 1 month it will be nice. And like my time is changing. My time is changing. I will wake up night and sleep day, and I will come to American with this last month before fight for jet lag. It's very good. I know the jet lag, like going back. My body is ready for sleeping, sleep time.
Coming up in the bantamweight division, we have a championship fight between Aljamain Sterling and the former champion, two-division champion, Henry Cejudo. And then you also have a number 1 versus number 2 with Petr Yan. I think Petr's still 2. Yeah. I'm sorry, not number 1. Number 2 and number 3 between Petr Yan and Merab. You take a look at those two fights. How is it that you think that they're going to play out? Who do you think is going to win in those?
With Aljamain Sterling and Henry Cejudo, if Henry don't give him wrestling and if he defends his takedowns, I think Henry will beat him. I think like this because Henry was fighting with too many guys who have good striking, and he showed good job.
So,
About Merab and Petr, I think same. If Petr don't give him wrestling, and if Petr will be distance, you understand? I think Petr will beat him. But if Merab gonna take him down and Merab will do his job, I think Petr will lose because of Merab is not like usually fighter. He's a little bit crazy. He didn't do like everybody. He didn't move like everybody. He going forward like crazy.
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why you need good defense. That's why you need go always keep distance and work with him. I think Petr much better than his strike. Much better.
In striking, yeah.
Yes, but about fight, when you go to inside, you not will just boxing. This is fight. You can wrestling, you can do everything, and if Petr will give him do his job, I think Merab will win.
Out of those 4 fighters, I mean, have you trained with them? Any of them?
I was training with Henry one time. It was maybe 2017, maybe like before, maybe 18, and we was grapple, just grapple. Then he was fighter, like 125. He was small, and one time I will just was grapple with him, and this is nothing about skills. One
Yeah.
to 5 minutes. This is
You can't get
I
enough
think it's-
from that sample size. You can't get enough
Huh?
information. You can't get enough information from that sample size. 1 5-minute round is not enough to let you know how you feel.
nothing.
Yeah, nothing. Henry, he had came out to AKA when he first came from the Olympics to see if he was going to train at AKA, and then he ended up going somewhere else. But he was considering coming to AKA to train. That would have been interesting to have him there at AKA with us.
This is this time when he was come to AK. He was come to with his coach, but I just grapple with him one time, and it was like now I think I'm now and then I'm like two different fighter.
Yeah,
Right now I'm much better, I think.
Yeah,
When
we
you-
think so too.
I think so. Yeah, it's funny because I tell the story all the time when you first came to the gym, when you first came to AK, and I was fighting, and then you were helping train, and you were training with me, and we were rolling and grappling, and I didn't realize how young you were, and I think when you first came to AK, you were 19. And then you were just about to turn 20, and there's to see the progression of how much better and how focused you are now. It's, it says a lot about you in terms of your focus, and I admire that a lot.
A lot of Josh, when somebody has around him very very tough guys, this is impossible. He will improve for sure, 100%. Because of Islam Mamedov, Makhachev, Khabib, these guys all the time smash me, all the time do stand like a lot of ambition, joke me, choke, like do everything, and but step by step I understand how I can protect myself, how I can do something like move, how I can get up, and step by step I improve. This is, I think, what did me like. This is 100%. If I was different place with different team, I think I'm not will be like this Umar, for sure.
What is different? So like Khabib and Islam, they train with his father, and they have more of a wrestling type background. You and your brother Usman have more of a Taekwondo style stand up, but you still have wrestling, but it's not the same type of wrestling that Khabib and Islam have. What was it like growing up that made you guys so different in your styles of fighting?
Me and Usman was training to Muay Thai, maybe 3, 4, 5 a year. I know this Islam and Khabib never go to like same school. They improve his boxing here. Khabib improved to with Javier Mendez, and they become better in the like with everybody. Like in MMA training. But me and Usman, we from Muay Thai school. We was competition in Dagestan, in Russian challenge, like Russian championship, like this, and that's why I think, because of when you do something 3 years or 4 years, of course will be good there. And between Khabib and Islam in the grappling and his game, I think Islam try to choke you. Islam try to change position, and Islam doing like chase. He play with you.
Yeah.
But Habib's game, Habib smash you. He try to do with you everything. Like he grapple with you like this. He grab you, and he don't wanna give you any place. He make you tired and kill.
Kill.
Yeah, last bit kills you.
Yeah.
Look, let me ask you this, because you've been now fighting. You're 27 years old, so you're still so young. You're young in the sport. You have so much more as far as years of fighting if you decide to do that. But your brother is even younger at 24, and now he has become the champion over in Bellator. Is that frustrating in a way to you, or is it like that's just part of the way things are?
What? Can you ask me? I didn't understand.
Sure. Your brother is 24 years of age, 3 years younger than you, and you guys have been fighting close to the same amount of time, really. And he's 16-0. He's going into his 17th professional fight. You're 16-0. Between you two guys, 32-0. But he has been given the opportunity to fight for a championship. He won that championship. He is now the lightweight champion in Bellator. Does that fact that he's younger than you in any way frustrate you, or is it no, it's all good, that's my brother?
Of course, this is what makes me happy, and I'm not have challenge with him. Even if he will be like 50-0, I will be 2-0. It's okay. This is my brother, and anything from him doing me happy. And you know what I see in our team, like every new generation become better, early. You understand? Because like what Khabib know when he's 30, he teach me when I'm 25. Same, Usman know everything in the game when he's 22.
Yeah.
That's why he become better. You understand?
Yeah.
That's why, because of nobody pushed Khabib when he was 20. Khabib not was his big brother who champion in the UFC, who know about game everything. That's why this guy teach us. He show us everything, and because of this we improve. Because of this we hear and we know about this game everything. When we in the village, he can not control. He just calling, hey, come to here, come to gym, and he grapple with us. He show us everything. He talk about mental, talk about training, how we'll be serious. I think that's why. Just that's why.
What makes your guys' relationship so close? Is it because of the training? Like, I'm just being honest. Like, you guys are all, like, you never see one of you guys by yourself. It's always together. You with your brother, you with Abu Bakr, or you with Islam, Mamadov. Like, it's always with someone. What makes you guys so close?
I think our religion, Josh, and when people have same idea, they become close. They have same goal. They have same religion. They have same they mind. I think that's why.
So yeah, because even like I said, it's not just you and your cousin Khabib and Usman. It's also Islam. It's also, and I know Abu Bakr is your cousin also, but then there's also both Islams and how close you guys are. And now you guys have younger kids that are also at AK, and then also the ones that travel around with you guys, and they are also getting better and they are also learning. So I just wanted to know, because you guys, I saw you in Chicago and it was 10:30 at night and I got the video of you guys in there at 10:30 at night, Abu Bakr with Ali lifting weights, and you and Islam in the cycling room doing your work, on the bike. And where does that work ethic come from you guys?
I think this is because uncle built this. Uncle Khabib father make this happening. He teach everybody. He show how we can be close friends, how we can help each other, and this is like I see one reason, religion and same goal. Just this one, because I know when I fight, when I need help, Islam will come. He will help. Of course, when he's need for help, I will be there anytime. I don't want to watch. I have something. I have plans or no. I have to go. I have to help. And everybody in the team, same mind. Everybody think like this. If we can, we help, and we have to be close. We have to be help, and I don't know how I can
That's,
answer.
that's a good answer.
Yes, that's good.
Look, MMA has gone through a series. I don't know how long have you been watching mixed martial
MMA,
arts?
I,
Yeah.
I beginning watch with Khabib fight. UFC, I beginning watch with when Khabib fight with Kamal Shalarus. This is my first fight when I watch. Before I never did. I never. I was play US game,
Yeah.
UFC game. I was play, but I didn't watch. Then in Russia. Uh, right now in the Russian like telecanal like Match TV show UFC. Before not. Before you have to find the link, watch like in internet. And I was very young. I didn't I don't have like a phone, nice phone. I just was what Nokia. I just can call. I'm here. No,
You had a burner.
The little brick
Burner
phone.
phone.
that's why first my UFC fight I watch is Khabib. I watch on his home with his father, with uncle, and I remember this time. First,
So, MMA has gone through just a series of different times and places where different styles took over, different, people were coming in and doing different things. And we had the time of Lyoto Machida, with one part wrestling with Randy Couture, Dan Severn, all of them, Mark Coleman. Wrestling was the big thing. And then it got into the karate thing. Then right now there's that, it's kind of like a saying, the Dagestani fighters. Dagestani fighter. This fighter, this Dagestani fighter. Do you give all the credit for the Dagestani fighters to Abdulmanap? Is he the guy that really made it all happen?
yes, and different schools too. This is doing everybody. Zabit, uh, like Ankalaev, different guys, and when I was last time in Bellator, there was Royce Gracie, and he said everybody asked me why so good Dagestan fighters, because of these guys his discipline. They didn't drink, they didn't go to party, they didn't do anything. These guys just training. That's why these
He
guys.
got that from Josh Thompson, because that's all Josh talks about with you guys.
Yeah. It's true. Like, and I feel like your guys' success comes from there is no drinking. It's all discipline. There's no drinking. There's motivation. There's training. The 10:30 at night on the bike. Well, I mean, I'm going to be honest. I was downstairs with these guys having food and drinking a beer.
Damn straight.
You guys were upstairs getting work in. You guys were making yourselves better. And I know that I'm older. I'm not fighting anymore. But even if I was fighting at that time, I probably would have been doing the same thing. The American, whether it's Australian, American, Brazilian, other cultures, other people, they're not as disciplined when it comes to year round. It's one thing to be that way in a camp. Almost every fighter's not doing drugs or not drinking, not, eating unhealthy during their camp. That's all they're doing is eating healthy and taking care of themselves during camp. But you guys do that year round. There's no drinking. You're not chasing women. You're not at nightclubs until 2, 3 in the morning.
Like Josh
you guys
was.
are focused. Yeah, you guys are focused. And I feel like that's a big deal.
You have to choose. I think like this. You have to choose what you want. If you wanna be fighter, like everybody, you can not like can. If you will doing this one, you will be like everybody. If you wanna become champion, you have to cut all this. You have to follow your goal, follow your dream, and be disciplined, be professional, and doing your job like better than everybody. That's why all the time, like Habib, he motivate us like this. Hey, if somebody training more than you, he will beat you. You cannot be for sure. If you're not training more than everybody, you will become champion. You have to do this. How you? He says something. Sometimes he say like this. How you sleep when you know somebody training more than you?
That's true.
It's a good quote.
I
All right,
sleep
so-
actually on my left side, to be honest, like this.
Very well. So let's look at it this way. It is now 2023, basically the beginning. In your estimation, the way you plan it out, do you believe you're going to get this title shot somewhere in 2023? Is it going to take you to 2024 to get that opportunity?
I didn't understand, Josh.
Wait,
John.
right now you are sitting at number 11 in the rankings.
Uh-huh.
You're looking for fights and no one wants to fight you. You say you'll fight anyone, and I believe you, and I love when you put out, look, I'm human, guys. You know, it was a great tweet. But do you think that you're going to possibly have to wait until 2024 to get that opportunity at that title, or do you think that maybe you get 3 fights here in 2023 or so, and you could possibly get that title shot?
I think it's gonna be I will fight for the title, and I will be lucky if I will fight end of the 2024. I don't know. I don't think they will give me this year. I hope I will fight 3-4 fights. I think for sure they will give me 3-4 fights, and then maybe I will be fighting for the contender.
All right, so if I look at the breakdown in terms of your weight class, obviously you would love to have the Dominic Cruz fight, but I think John and I both agree that Dominic Cruz is going to try
Dominic's
to
not
avoid
gonna
you.
take that
He's
fight.
not going to take that fight against you.
And I don't blame him.
Which is
I don't blame him at
we don't
all.
blame him. I know you respect him. You've come out publicly and said you respect him. You admire him as a fighter. You respect him as a fighter. He's a legend. I think everyone here on this podcast can agree he's a legend, but he won't take that fight. But if we look at this, I like your matchup against Pedro Munoz. If you were to fight Pedro, that'd be a great fight.
Rob Font, Marlon Vera. All those are good fights.
I look at those fights, yeah, but if I want to get you to the title within, say, 3 fights, I say the Pedro Munoz fight gets you to number 9. That gets you back into action. And then you basically go right to Corey Sandhagen and see how Corey Sandhagen ends up after his next fight. After that, you're pretty much looking at the number 1 guy after that, whether it's Sean O'Malley, Merab, or Dvalishvili or Marlon Vera. One of those guys will be your 3rd fight to see if you fight for the title. That's kind of the breakdown of if I was to handpick you. I mean, is that the way do you agree with me, or would you like to have a different path? Pedro Munoz, Corey Sandhagen, and then the winner of whoever's at the top at the end of the year would be Sean O'Malley, Peter Yan, Merab, or Marlon Vera. One of those 4 guys will be number 2 or number 1 by the end of this year.
Maybe I think more than everybody will be take with me fight maybe Adrian Martinez,
Okay.
because of I'm 11, he's under than me, he's 14 or 13.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody who will lose, maybe if he will lose, somebody when somebody lose, he didn't have to choose, they have to say, hey, you have to fight or not,
Yeah.
and or you will be wait.
When you look at something, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I don't know. I really don't know who will take with me fight. I really don't know, and I don't want to say too. For example, Merab scared to me, or like Marlon Vera scared to me. That's why he didn't fight, or somebody different, or Rob Front scared. I don't want to say to this because of everybody has a plan. They everybody want to fight who like under him in the ranking, and everybody will fight for the title. But when they ask him fight with this guy and they will say to no, then I want to say to, hey, scared guys, go home, drink coffee and retire it. Don't say nobody you fighter.
When you look at Sean O'Malley, who's really, I mean, when he came on the scene, he came out of the Dana White's Contender Series. He talked a lot. He's got the flashy, look. He does, the different colored hairstyles. But the guy can fight. When you look at him, though, do you believe you match up well with Sean?
I just believe I will fight with him for the title and no different like chance. And I don't wanna say I hope everybody will understand. I really respect his skills. I think he's a good fighter. I not think he there because of like he's a lucky guy. No, he's tough guy. He doing good job, and but I not think he's number one in the ranking.
Got it.
So I'm not think he better than me like anywhere.
All right, so I'm going to change gears a little bit, and I want to talk about your brother. He's got a big fight coming up against Benson Henderson, someone I know pretty well. He's very well rounded. He's a legend in the sport. You know, multiple time UFC champion, multiple time WC champion. Yeah, he's in this camp. I've been into the gym. I've been in the AK a couple times to watch him train, watch him spar. He looks really good. Looks really sharp. When you look at him and you match him up against Benson, where do you see that he will be able to most likely just take apart Benson?
I think he will just striking, not give him wrestling, and I think Usman can beat him. Even if he will try to grapple, try to do something, I think Usman is tough and he have skills for defense, for attack, and for finish this guy. And to be honest, he's older. He's turning 39.
Yeah.
I don't think he have reserve or energy for be like tough fighter so many years. And but we have to respect him. He's really a legend, and he was so many time in the MMA, and just respect.
John?
I look at it when I tell people all the time, one of the hardest things is not the fight itself. You know, when you're the fighter, some will get nervous for things, but you know, you're in control. What is it like being on the outside of the cage when your brother is fighting? Do you get more nervous when he's fighting or more nervous when you are?
You know, this is too many times asking. Everybody asks this question, and why you nervous more when you corner because of you cannot do anything.
No control.
You not control. You're not doing anything. You know, you just can say to please do this.
Please.
Give advice. You know, but when you go to inside the cage after very good training camp, you feeling like beast. You know, I doing this many time. I'm here for smash this guy. That's why you're a little bit more nervous when you corner. But if you saw how work your brother, and Usman really did very good job. He was very like professional, doing like go sleep, eating, sleep, like everything. He did good job. He's really ready. He ready for anybody, and I'm sure he will show his best performance.
Yeah, I agree with you. I was training. What's it called? I was training with Khabib, and then I went to go corner him, and I kind of had an idea of how good he was and what he was good at, and it was like playing a video game. I say, hey, takedown, hey, punch, takedown, and it was like playing a video game. He would do everything, and he would do it on cue and control top position. And I mean, obviously,
but when he's not doing that, that's when it's frustrating.
Yeah, that's when it's frustrating, right?
It's horrible.
When it's your brother and he's like not listening to you when you want him to, it's got to be frustrating.
If he not will listen,
yeah.
You know, Usman. Even if I will even I will give him advice like take him down. If he feel better and he see he can like fight striking better, and he doing his job, like he will striking. I know this, but I can told him like be distance and be distance like give him advice in the striking. No, Usman is like little bit. Even Khabib, he doing like very hard. He give very hard time for Javier Mendes when he was fighting with Barboza. Barboza all around say to him, "Hey, take him down, take him down." He didn't listen. You know, he keep
Yeah, I did that fight. I remember it.
yeah, he keeps striking. And when we go to between rounds, Javier say, "Hey, I told you, take him down. You can finish him." He say, "Yes, yes, okay. Go next round and doing what he want. You know what we can do."
Nah. Fresh, as a coach, pull your hair out. And Javier is already losing his hair, so he needs to keep as much of it as he can.
No more mullets for Javier. Hey, in your last fight, though, you fought a guy in Ronnie Barcelos who's a very good fighter, good wrestling, good stand-up, but you looked fantastic. And the left hook that you landed,
Thank you.
it was one of those shots where it looks like it hardly touches him. It goes so fast, and he snapped so quick and went down so easy with it. Was that one of those ones? Did it feel like as soon as you touched him, you knew, or was it one that felt like you hardly did touch him?
It was first time when I knock him on somebody, and it was first time when I feel this is like, you know, I remember this moment like somebody like this is was like 1 second. I can like repeat this like 10 minutes. You know, slowly I see everything in front of my eyes, and I didn't think I can knock him out. Somebody never, and this is happening because of now I understand how this working. This he didn't see this punch. He watched on my knee, and I give him left hand. That's why he didn't watch. It was not hard punch. It was very easy. Yeah, like
Yeah, but
light
it
punch.
put him out.
Yes, and because of he didn't see, he go to knock him out.
That was beautifully done. Just want to
Thank
tell
you.
you, it was
Thank
like
you so
so
much.
smooth and easy. It was like, Jesus. That's why no one wants to fight you, though. You can't keep doing those things.
I talked about your brother. I talked about your fights. I talked about your division. The next thing I wanted to talk about, though, was ask you was, Cain Velasquez is back in the gym, and he's been working with the fighters. And I saw him yesterday, actually, for the first time in the gym, and we chatted for a while. He's motivated. He loves being in there with the younger talent. What's it like been like having him back in the gym?
Well, everybody in the gym thankful, and everybody happy because of his he come back, and he give like he give if Cain give you advice, he will doing this like your father, very like kind. He care about you. Say, hey, don't do this. You can, if you will do like this takedown, you can eat knee. You have to do like this, and he show, and he will stay with you, like until you doing this good. You understand? Everybody feeling good because of him, and in the gym have like nice energy, and everybody feeling the legend is here. He gave everybody nice energy.
There's no doubt he's a legend.
Gosh,
Josh, anything else on this you want to go with? We got to let this man go because he's got to go back to training.
We do.
I know. So, Umar, I want to tell you, thank you so much for being on here. I know we're looking at a future champion in the UFC. You're going to have a long run. The real question is 16-0. Do you have to surpass Khabib? Do you have to beat that 29-0?
how many fights?
Do you think?
13
That's only 13 more.
13
Well,
more.
14 to pass him.
I have 5 years for 13 fights. Yes, why not?
Okay.
Why not?
Oh, that sounds good. Hey, thank you for coming on the show. Best of luck in everything. I hope that you get an opponent soon because I cannot wait to watch your fight again.
Thank you so much,
My
guys.
man, Umar Nurmagomedov. Well, I hope you enjoyed that conversation we had with Umar Nurmagomedov. He's so fun, and I give him so much credit because, man, his English is actually not really bad at all. Way better than my Russian, because I would have done this in Russian if I could have.
Well, they call him the mini Khabib, and that's pretty much because he has very much a similar mentality. Is I'm going to be champion. I'm not worried about anything else that happens. And if it was meant to be, it's meant to be. And his work ethic shines through. Now, they all have a very similar work ethic, but some of them stand up above the other ones. And their mentality is very key, believes he can't be beat. And I think I don't see anyone really right now in this division that I think can beat him. Sure, you're going to say the top 2 or 3, but that could happen on any given day in any division, across the board when you're fighting the top 2 or 3 fighters in the world. It's whoever had that night. He is just somebody that is going to continue to get better. And John, we talked a little bit off air with him. He's like, when I used to train with Josh when I first came, he used to smash me. It's like, and I said we were in Seattle, and John brought it up to him. He goes, man, I got into like a little clinch position. I go, he was a kid when I left AKA. I go, he's not a kid anymore. He's a man. He has that man strength. He's got that feel to him of, man, I'm trying to move him, trying to underhook him, trying to do these things. He's a man. He's coming into his own, and it's actually so great to see, man. Like I said, he came into AK at like towards the end of him being 19 years old, 20 years old, and just a really respectful, always picking my brain, always wanted to know knowledge, ask, how do you do this? How can I do this?
Show me this, Josh. Show me this.
Yes. Like, please show me how to make the sweep. And, like things like that. He just wanted to know how I set things up, and he would bug me. But it wasn't even bugging me. I loved it. I enjoyed it. I love when young fighters have that sense of just urgency and willingness to learn something new. Didn't matter who it was and who it was coming from. They wanted to know, especially if something was kind of giving them a little bit of a problem, or things that were not even just giving them problems, things that were just like, oh, that was cool. Can I see it? And just let me see how you set it up. Let me see how you do it. Just a fantastic young man. So pleasure having him on, and looking forward to seeing his brother fight this weekend.
Absolutely.
Dave, you got any news for us, or are we just what are we doing?
So we're not going to cover anything else here, but we will. We've got a plan to do a live at some point between now and the weekend, and we'll do a live. We'll address a couple of fights that were announced, and that'll be on OnlyFans. So make sure you guys are over there so you can see when we're live. Yeah, and then we'll cover that with there.
John, Dave, you have about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Do you have about 10 minutes? Okay, I wanted to touch something real quick, in regards to our last show, our pay-per-view.
You be careful
coverage.
what you're touching there.
I know. I like to, touch myself. I wanted to make sure it was clear. Look, in no way was I talking about John Jones and his what do you call it? His list of fighters that he's beaten. I want to make sure that John gets the respect he deserves when it comes to his talents, his ability, his, and if you want to call him the GOAT, like I said, you guys can call him the GOAT. He's in that list. Obviously, it's however you want to interchange him, and people are going to continue to say that because he's the hot new fighter on the top. He's always been the hot new fighter on the top. It's him, GSP, and people could say for Fedor, in terms of being the heavyweight GOAT. The list was long for Fedor as well, and there's other fighters that are in that mix. I'm not taking anything away from John whatsoever. My process on all of this was I wanted people to understand that I am a lightweight guy. Lightweight guys never get the respect, not just lightweight, the bantamweights, the 145 pounders, even up to the 170s. Those guys don't ever really get the respect they deserve. That's why they haven't had such long-standing champions, is because there are so many people that are just as good as the champion. And John, you touched on this that night. The depth of the 205, the depth of the heavyweight is not deep enough to really have threats to John Jones and somebody of his caliber, someone of his abilities to threaten him every single fight. And those guys, when you look at 135 right now, it's killer's row in not just one promotion, across the board in almost all promotions.
True.
That have the 135 pound division. 145, killer's row. Like, it's just every single time there's another guy that's coming up, and they're all the way down top 10, top 15. John's never had that of 15 guys in a row that could beat him. You know, it's been okay. You got 3 great guys. Name value. You got Shogun. You got Vitor. You know, you've got those top level fighters. Those are the cream of the crop that he's beaten. I'm not taking that away from him at all whatsoever. And he made it look easy against those fighters. I get what that is. I get, and to be champion for as long as he was, you can't take that away. And no matter what I say, I can't take that away from him. Absolutely not. My thought on it though is the reason why those guys down below in the lighter weight classes, they don't get the respect they deserve is because they can't put together a stint that long because there's so many young and up and coming fighters. And that's no fault of John's. But I feel like those lighter weight fighters have a harder time achieving that GOAT status because there's so many top level fighters for them to continue to fight for a 12 or a 10 year or a 14 year period or whatever John's been able to do it for. It's just not possible for those lightweight fighters. That should tell you something right off the bat, that it's, like I said, no disrespect to him. It's not disrespect and it's no fault of his own, but it's a lot harder to be champion for a long period of time in those lighter weight classes. And I put a little bit more weight into those fighters, all of them across the board that are in the lighter weight class, in the bantams, in the featherweights, in the lightweights, and maybe even into the welterweight division than I do into the 185, into the 205, and into the heavyweight. That's just my take. When I look at the heavyweight division, I look at the 205 pound division, I look at the 85 pound division. The top 5 can maybe compete with the champ, even now to this day. But then you get past that and it's very watered down. You look at the bantamweight division right now, give me somebody in the top 15, that guy could probably fight for the title and make it competitive. Give me somebody in the featherweight division in the top 10, that guy, number 10, could probably make it competitive for the championship fight.
Not against Volkanovski. Sorry.
This you might be right. You might be right. But styles make matchups. You never know.
No,
it does. You know, so, and then you look at the lightweight division, the top 15, the top 10, that guy at number 10 could make it competitive in the title fight. So that is kind of the direction I was trying to go. And at 4 in the morning, it wasn't coming out that way. And I want to make sure that because it did bother me when I got done. I went back and I listened to the show myself and I was like, it did sound like you were trying to be a hater. In no way am I trying to be a hater. No way. I got a lot of love and respect for Jon Jones in the cage. Outside of stuff, look, I'm not going to let that get carried in to how I feel about him outside the cage. His abilities,
it's not him as a fighter. You're talking about him as a fighter.
Yes, I'm talking about him as an athlete and him as a fighter. That's it. And he is fantastic, absolutely fantastic. So I just want to make sure that I got cleared up. Got nothing but love and respect for the guy inside that cage. Just an animal, and he makes it look easy, and that's hard to do. It doesn't matter who you're fighting. So he deserved a little bit more respect and a little bit more love from my side and my perspective. That's how I wanted to present it. It just didn't come out that way. I just want to make sure we cleared that up. But hey, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed this show. Join us over at onlyfans.com/weighing in. Like I said, some extra content coming your way this week. It doesn't cost you anything. It's free. Okay, we're just throwing out some new content only available there on OnlyFans. And then on top of that, we will only be taking fan questions from that area on that page. So check it out over there. It is free. Hopefully you guys join us. onlyfans.com/weighing in. John, go ahead. Take us away, bud.
Hey, everyone, you got some fantastic fights coming up this weekend. You've got on Friday night, Bellator is coming out with a fantastic main event of Peter Yan versus Merab Dvalishvili. I can't even say it right now. But be sure that you catch them all because they're going to be an incredible weekend of fights. And we hope that you enjoy the show and Mr. Umar Nurmagomedov. And we will see you.